Welcome, curious minds, to the deep dive. We live in a world that's just overflowing with information, right?
Absolutely. Information overload is a real thing.
Yeah, every click, every scroll, it just adds to this huge data mountain. And finding those genuine aha moments, those flashes of insight that really make you feel informed, well, it can feel like hacking through a digital jungle.
It really can. It's tough to know what's signal and what's noise.
But what if there was, maybe, a shortcut? A way to gain knowledge quickly, thoroughly, and with real clarity. A way to cut through all that noise.
Well, that's exactly what we're aiming for today.
Exactly. We're diving headfirst into something truly transformative. Artificial intelligence. AI.
It's such a huge topic right now.
It is. And it's not just some, theoretical idea anymore. AI is really deeply woven into our daily lives, and it's rapidly reshaping whole industries. It's redefining what's possible for businesses, maybe like yours.
Indeed. And for this deep dive, our mission really is to focus specifically on how one very powerful AI, Google's Gemini, can help revolutionize your core business functions. We're talking marketing, business development, and sales.
Okay, so really practical application.
Exactly. Think of this as your practical guide. How can you become not just, a bit more efficient, but significantly more effective? How can you unlock some real unprecedented growth?
I like that. Unlocking growth.
We want to show you how AI, and specifically Gemini in this case, helps you cut through that information maze and get straight to the strategic insights you actually need.
Practical guide. I really like that framing, because we're not just floating theories here, are we?
Not at all. We've got some solid sources.
Yeah, our sources for this deep dive are, frankly, pretty illuminating. We've got a great overview of AI-powered marketing in general, sort of laying out the big strategic shifts.
Which is crucial context.
Right. And then critically, we have a detailed guide, like a playbook, on using Gemini within Google Workspace.
Which makes it super actionable.
Exactly. This isn't just about what AI can do. These are practical blueprints, steps you can take to apply AI in real-world business scenarios. Integrate it into your workflow, like right now.
Moving from just talking about potential to actually doing it.
Yes, from potential to application.
Precisely. And to help navigate this really exciting landscape, we've brought in the perspective of a leading expert in leveraging these technologies, Aspiration Marketing.
Ah, right. They have that deep expertise in growth marketing and HubSpot too, right?
They do. They really understand how to turn these powerful tools into actual tangible business results. So consider this a journey where we're guiding you, the listener, through some complex stuff, but with trusted partners kind of showing the way.
Like having a guide in that jungle we mentioned.
Exactly. Showing you how to make AI work for you. So let's maybe start by laying down some fundamentals. What exactly is AI?
Okay, let's do that. Let's unpack it, because we hear AI everywhere as the buzzword, maybe the buzzword of the decade. But what is artificial intelligence really, beyond the hype?
Good question. It gets thrown around a lot.
It does. At its core, AI is about this remarkable capability of machines to, simulate human intelligence. Imagine building systems that can perceive their surroundings, learn from experience, reason through problems, and then make decisions, much like we do.
Like thinking machines, in a sense.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But here's the real aha moment, I think. The power isn't just in mimicking us. It's in AI's ability to process these absolutely vast amounts of data.
Mind-boggling amounts.
Right. And identify patterns within that data that, honestly, would be impossible for any single human or even a team of humans to spot. And then from those patterns, generate insights that are genuinely transformative.
So it's like a super-powered research assistant.
Yeah, exactly. A hyper-efficient, tireless research assistant who's amazing at connecting the dots.
And what's fascinating here is that AI isn't just one monolithic thing. It's a broad field with several specialized branches, each with its own strengths.
Okay.
The first one, and really the cornerstone for a lot of AI systems, is machine learning, ML.
I've heard that one a lot too. ML.
Right. This is where machines learn from data without being explicitly programmed for every single task. The algorithms analyze patterns, trends in the data, and the system actually improves its performance over time.
So it gets smarter as it sees more data.
Precisely. Think about spam filters in your email. They learn what looks like spam based on emails you mark.
Right.
Or those personalized recommendations on Netflix or Spotify.
Ah, okay. So it's learning my taste in movies.
Exactly. The system learns what you might like based on what you've watched before, constantly refining its predictions. It's not just following a fixed set of rules, it's learning to make better rules itself.
That makes sense. It adapts.
It adapts.
And building on that, you mentioned deep learning. That's related.
Yes, deep learning is a powerful subset of machine learning. So if ML is like learning from experience, deep learning kind of kicks it up a notch.
Okay, how so?
It uses something called artificial neural networks. These are inspired, conceptually at least, by the structure of the human brain, all those interconnected neurons.
Wow.
And these networks are really good at analyzing incredibly complex data. We're talking vast libraries of images, different speech patterns, huge amounts of text.
So unstructured stuff mostly.
A lot of it, yes.
Yeah.
This is the tech that's really revolutionized things like computer vision, letting machines see and interpret images, and natural language processing, which we'll get to.
Right, like in self-driving cars. They need to understand what they're seeing.
Exactly. Making sense of that chaotic, real-world visual input. That's deep learning playing a huge role.
Got it. So ML learns. Deep learning uses these brain-inspired networks for complex stuff. What about language? You mentioned NLP.
Right, natural language processing, or NLP. This basically bridges the gap between human language, messy, ambiguous human language, and machine understanding.
That sounds hard.
It is. NLP is what empowers computers to interpret, generate, and respond to our language in a meaningful way. It's the magic behind chatbots you talk to online.
Some better than others.
True. But also things like Google Translate, or sentiment analysis tools that can figure out if a customer review is positive or negative.
Okay, so it's not just keywords. It's understanding the meaning.
Exactly. It's about context, nuance, intent. That's the key insight. It allows for much more, well, human-like interaction with machines.
Okay, that makes sense. And the last branch you mentioned.
Computer vision. This is where machines learn to see and understand the visual world.
Like the deep learning example with cars.
Precisely. Through analyzing images and video, computer vision powers things we almost take for granted now, like facial recognition.
On our phones or for security?
Right, or automatically tagging friends in your Facebook photos.
Right.
Object detection in factories for quality control. And yes, definitely the perception systems in autonomous vehicles identifying pedestrians, signs, lights.
So teaching computers to interpret all the visual chaos we deal with every day.
You got it.
So putting it all together, AI isn't some sci-fi future concept. It's already here, deeply embedded in our lives.
It really is, often working silently in the background. Think about your virtual assistants, Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant.
Use mine all the time.
They're using NLP to understand what you say and ML to learn your preferences, right? Fetching information, setting timers. Every time you ask for the weather, that's AI in action.
Never really thought of it quite like that, but yeah. And image recognition, too. Like tagging photos.
Absolutely. Whether it's for security or just organizing your vacation pictures, that's computer vision, a branch of AI doing the work.
And those recommendation engines. Netflix, Amazon, Spotify. They're spooky good sometimes.
They are. They're constantly analyzing your viewing habits, your purchases, your listening history, using ML to suggest things you're likely to enjoy.
And it works. I find so much new stuff that way.
Exactly. And that personalization isn't just a nice feature. It dramatically enhances the user experience, drives engagement. It makes those services feel like they're made just for you.
Which is a key insight for businesses, right? That shift from one size fits all to something intensely personal.
Absolutely fundamental. And it's not just about consumers. The impact on business is huge and measurable. You look at the stats, something like 91.5% of leading businesses are actively investing in AI right now.
Wow, 91%. That's almost everyone at the top.
It is. And 77% of business and tech leaders say AI boosts productivity. This isn't a forecast anymore. It's the current reality. It's changing how we work.
So if you're a business leader listening and you're not seriously looking at AI,
you might be falling behind. That's the blunt truth.
It's interesting, though. AI's journey wasn't always a straight lineup, was it?
Not at all. It's been a long road full of ups and downs. The basic ideas actually go way back to the 1950s. Pioneers like Alan Turing, John McCarthy, they laid the groundwork.
Pioneers.
Yeah, and there was a lot of early optimism, but progress was harder than expected. That led to these periods called AI winters.
Right, where funding dried up, interest waned.
Exactly. It shows how tech cycles can swing from massive hype to, well, hibernation and back again.
But clearly we're out of the winter now. What changed?
A few key things converged. Massive increases in computing power, the sheer availability of enormous data sets, big data, and some really groundbreaking innovations in algorithms, especially in deep learning.
The perfect storm, almost.
Kind of.
Right.
And we saw these milestones. IBM's Deep Blue beating Kasparov in chess back in '97. That was huge.
I remember that. Seemed impossible at the time.
And then more recently, Google's AlphaGo beating the world Go champion Lee Sedol in 2016. Go is incredibly complex, very intuitive.
Right. Much harder than chess in some ways.
Exactly. These weren't just stunts. They proved AI could tackle problems that seemed uniquely human, complex strategy, intuition.
So today, AI isn't futuristic. It's present. It's shaping everything: healthcare, finance, education.
Smart cities, scientific research. It's fundamentally transforming how things get done. The exciting part now is seeing it move from labs and niche applications into practical tools for everyday business.
Which brings us right back to our focus: AI-powered marketing, and specifically using Gemini. How does AI change the game for marketers?
The fundamental shift is profound. Think about it. Every click you make online, every search query, every purchase, every social media like or comment, it all leaves a digital footprint.
A trail of
A
data.
huge trail. And AI is incredibly good at deciphering these complex patterns in that data. It can gain these invaluable insights into customer behavior, preferences, motivations, things humans just couldn't see at that scale.
So it's not just collecting data, it's understanding it.
Precisely. It interprets it at a speed and depth humans can't match. And armed with that deep knowledge, marketers can finally move beyond those generic blast campaigns.
The old spray and pray method.
Exactly. Instead, you can create highly targeted campaigns that really resonate with individual customers or small segments. You foster deeper connections, drive much higher engagement.
So it feels less like being marketed at and more like the brand actually understands you.
That's the goal. It's a shift towards marketing with your customers, creating this feeling of hyper-relevance, of being understood.
Can you give an example? Like, how would that work in practice?
Sure. Imagine an e-commerce retailer. Instead of just sending the same sale email to everyone.
Which I usually ignore.
Right. They use AI to analyze your specific browsing history, your past purchases, maybe even how long you paused on a certain product page.
Okay, getting specific.
Very specific. The AI figures out which products you personally are most likely interested in right now. Then the retailer can send you personalized recommendations, maybe a special offer on something similar, or a time-sensitive deal on that item you were looking at.
Tailored just for me based on my digital footprint.
Exactly. It moves marketing from guesswork to precision. Every marketing dollar works harder because it's targeted based on demonstrated interest.
That makes a ton of sense. So this isn't just theory. There are actual tools doing this now.
Oh, absolutely. AI's impact is very tangible. There's a whole arsenal of AI-powered marketing tools out there.
Okay, like what? What's in the arsenal?
Well, first up is marketing automation. AI takes automation to the next level. It frees up marketers from those mundane, repetitive tasks, scheduling emails, posting social media updates, basic lead nurturing.
The stuff that eats up time but isn't very strategic.
Exactly. By automating that, marketers can focus their brain power on strategy, creativity, building relationships, the things humans do best. It unlocks their potential.
So it's about augmenting the marketer, not replacing them.
Precisely. Then there's customer segmentation. This is where AI gets really powerful.
Okay.
Its data crunching ability lets marketers segment their audience with incredible precision. Analyzing demographics, sure, but also behavior, preferences, purchase history, even brand affinities.
Things that might not be obvious just looking at basic demographics.
Right. AI algorithms can spot these distinct customer groups. Then you can tailor your messaging, your offers, specifically for those segments. The result, much higher engagement, higher conversions, because the message actually speaks to them.
Like having thousands of personalized conversations at once.
That's a great way to think about it. Then, moving down the funnel, we have lead generation and scoring.
Finding and prioritizing potential customers.
Exactly. AI tools can identify potential leads from all sorts of places, qualify them based on criteria set industry, company size, recent online activity, and even assign a lead score.
A score indicating how likely they are to buy.
Yep. This helps the sales team prioritize. They can focus their energy on the hottest prospects, increasing their success rate and wasting less time on leads that aren't a good fit.
So not just more leads, but smarter leads.
Smarter leads, better prioritized.
Okay, what about predicting the future? Can AI help there?
Well, almost. That's where predictive analytics comes in. This is really cool.
Sounds like it.
AI analyzes historical data, past purchases, website visits, support tickets, market trends to predict future customer behavior and outcomes.
Like what?
Like identifying customers who are at high risk of churning, leaving you long before they actually do. Or predicting which product categories are likely to trend upwards next quarter.
Wow. So you can be proactive instead of reactive.
Exactly. You can intervene to keep a customer, or adjust your inventory, or shift your marketing focus based on these predictions. It's incredibly powerful for strategic planning.
Okay, one more for the arsenal.
Yes, AI-powered retargeting. You know, retargeting, showing ads to people who visited your site but didn't buy.
Yeah, those ads that follow you around the internet.
Ha, right. AI makes them much smarter. Instead of just showing a generic ad for your brand, AI analyzes their specific behavior, what pages they viewed, what products they looked at, and delivers personalized ads.
So not just you visited our site, but hey, remember those specific running shoes you liked? They're on sale.
Exactly that level of granularity. It dramatically increases the chance of conversion because the ad is hyper-relevant to their demonstrated interest.
Right.
Makes your ad spend way more effective.
Okay, that's a powerful toolkit. Let's drill down more. How does this change specific marketing activities, like email?
Great question. Take email marketing. AI tools can personalize pretty much everything. The content inside the email, the subject line to maximize open rates, even the optimal time to send it based on when that specific individual usually engages with emails.
Not just sticking my first name in there.
No, much deeper than that. It leads to significantly higher open rates, click-through rates, and actual conversions. Think about a travel company.
Okay.
AI analyzes your past trips, searches, maybe even stated preferences. Then it sends you personalized emails, maybe suggesting a trip to a place similar to one you loved, or offering a deal on a flight route you searched for recently.
Right message, right person, right time.
That's the essence of it.
What about advertising? Beyond retargeting.
In advertising, AI is a huge disruptor. It enables things like real-time bidding for ad placements, deciding in milliseconds how much to bid for a specific impression based on the user's profile,
Super fast decisions.
and dynamic ad creation. The ad itself can change based on who's seeing it, different images, different copy, different calls to action.
Oh.
Plus that hyper-targeted audience segmentation we talked about. Imagine a sportswear brand.
Yeah.
Using AI, they don't just target runners. They target users who've recently searched for marathon training plans and live near a city with an upcoming marathon and have bought running shoes online before.
Okay, that's
Extremely. The ad isn't just noise. It lands in front of someone actively looking for that exact thing. The feeling of relevance is almost uncanny, and the effectiveness shoots up.
This feels like where content creation meets AI. How does something like Gemini fit into creating the actual marketing content?
Ah, yes. Leveraging AI in content marketing. This is where tools like Gemini really give you a creative edge. One obvious application is content generation.
Writing blog posts and stuff.
Exactly. Tools like Gemini, also ChatGPT, Jasper, Copy.ai, they can generate drafts for all sorts of content. Blog posts, social media captions, website copy, ad copy.
So does it just write it perfectly first time?
Not usually. The best process is often. AI generates a solid first draft, then humans come in to refine it. Add the unique brand voice, ensure strategic alignment, check for accuracy, add nuance.
Okay, so it's a collaborator, a
Yeah.
starting point.
A powerful starting point. For instance, you could use Gemini to brainstorm and draft engaging social media posts about a new product. You tell it the target audience, key message, call to action, maybe the platform.
And it spits out options for Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Yeah, tailored for conciseness or tone for each platform. Or, say, drafting a blog post announcing new team members. Gemini can help shape the narrative, highlight their skills, connect it to the company mission, saving hours of staring at a blank page.
That's a huge time saver.
Yeah.
What about improving existing content?
That's content optimization. Tools like Grammarly or Hemingway, they use AI now too. They go way beyond simple spell checking.
How so?
They help improve clarity, conciseness, readability, even the overall tone. They'll flag complex sentences, suggest simpler words, check for passive voice, help you maintain a consistent brand voice across all your writing.
So it makes the content better for the reader and potentially for SEO.
Absolutely. Better user experience, clearer message, and search engines tend to like well-written, easy to understand content. It polishes your message.
Okay. And finding what content to create in the first place. Keywords, topics.
Right. Keyword research and content analysis. AI tools here, like SEMrush or Ahrefs, are total game changers.
How do you use AI?
They analyze massive amounts of search data, millions of queries, competitor rankings, search trends. They can identify high-value keywords, including those long-tail phrases people use when they're close to buying. They spot emerging trends, uncover opportunities you might miss manually.
Finding the hidden gems.
Exactly. And beyond keywords, AI can analyze competitor content, what's working for them, what topics are resonating in your niche. It can even analyze user feedback from comments or reviews to see what people are really interested in or struggling with.
So you create content that actually meets a need.
Precisely. Content that hits the mark because it's based on data, not just intuition.
And this all ties back to SEO, right? Search engine optimization.
Definitely. Optimizing for search and user experience. AI is revolutionizing SEO.
How? SEO feels like a dark art sometimes.
AI brings data science to it. By analyzing search engine algorithms, as best we can understand them, user behavior on search results pages, competitor strategies, AI tools provide concrete insights.
Like what specifically?
Suggesting optimal keyword placement within your content, identifying opportunities for Absolutely. This is where it gets tangible. Let's say you're a brand manager and you need to develop a visual identity for a new business.
Okay, like a logo, colors.
Exactly. Maybe it's a quirky concept like a coffee shop that's also a video game cafe. You could use Gemini to brainstorm creative logo ideas.
How would you prompt that?
You could ask it to explore different styles. Brainstorm logo concepts for a coffee gaming cafe. Explore styles like modern playful, retro cool with neon, and sleek minimalist.
And it would give you descriptions or maybe even image ideas?
Descriptions, concepts, maybe even rough visual suggestions depending on the interface. Then you could iterate. Okay, focusing on retro cool, generate taglines and business names that fit that vibe.
Wow, so it's a creative brainstorming partner, kickstarts the whole process.
Massively. Saves hours of initial blue sky thinking. Or take developing brand strategy.
A bit more high level.
Right. You can use Gemini to help define a clear brand architecture. Maybe you have multiple product lines. How do they relate? What's the core mission, vision? Who are the target audiences for each? What's your desired positioning against competitors?
Consolidating all those strategic thoughts.
Exactly. Gemini can help turn scattered notes or meeting minutes into a coherent, actionable brand strategy document. And related to that, brainstorming brand partnerships.
Finding other companies or influencers to work with.
Yep. You could feed Gemini your target audience profile and brand values and ask. Identify potential influencers or complementary brands for partnership focused on your niche with an audience interested in audience interest.
And it would suggest relevant names.
Potentially, yes. Based on public data, social media presence, it helps you find those synergistic relationships to amplify your reach and build credibility faster.
That's super useful for outreach. What about market research?
For conducting market research and identifying trends, this is powerful. You can give Gemini URLs, news articles, industry reports, maybe even relevant social media threads.
Feed it the raw info.
Right. And ask it to summarize the key emerging trends and shifts in consumer preferences based on these sources for the industry market. It digests it all and gives you the highlights.
Saving hours of reading.
Totally. Then, based on those insights, you could immediately ask Gemini. Generate 5 different ad copy variations for Facebook, testing messages related to new trend identified, targeting specific audience, for instant A/B testing ideas.
Wow. Connecting research directly to execution.
Exactly. And for creating and managing content and distribution. Say you're a marketing specialist. You use Gemini to draft that blog announcement for the new hire we mentioned.
Okay.
Then you immediately ask it to create a project tracker in a Google Sheet format for amplifying this blog post. Include columns for channel, owner, target URL, priority level, and status.
And it sets up the spreadsheet structure.
It can generate the table structure, maybe even pre-fills some common channels like email, newsletter, LinkedIn, Twitter. It helps keep your content rollout organized and accountable.
That's incredibly efficient. What about social media listening?
Good one. Analyzing social media trends. Gemini can research trending keywords in your space, identify who the top influencer voices are discussing certain topics, and summarize common themes or sentiments across platforms.
So you understand the current conversation.
Right, which helps you jump in with relevant content or even reduce the time to market for new products by aligning them with current buzz and demand.
And building those customer profiles.
Yeah.
Personas.
Yes, performing audience research and developing personas. You can ask Gemini to generate a comprehensive audience persona based on initial research or data you provide.
What would that include?
Demographics, psychographics, their values, interests, lifestyle, which online platforms they use most, key pain points your product solves for them, and what kind of messaging resonates best. It creates a really detailed picture to guide everything.
A roadmap for marketing and sales, essentially.
Exactly. For digital marketers focused on paid search, think about creating and optimizing SEM copy.
Google Ads, Bing Ads.
Right. Gemini can generate extensive lists of keywords, including those valuable long-tail phrases, best noise-canceling headphones for air travel, not just headphones.
The high-intent keywords.
Exactly. Then, using those keywords, you prompt it. Create 3 ad group variations for Google Ads targeting persona name. Include different headlines, descriptions, and calls to action. Maintain a professional, playful, urgent tone.
So it helps with the whole ad creation and testing process.
Massively speeds it up. And for drafting customer acquisition communications, maybe outreach emails. You can use Gemini to brainstorm catchy, professional email subject lines first.
The hardest part sometimes.
Totally. Get a list of strong options, then pick one and ask Gemini to draft the full email based on that subject line outlining the value proposition. You can then easily share that draft with your copy team via Google Docs for collaboration. Streamlines the whole workflow.
Okay, let's talk inbound, content offers, landing pages.
Perfect. Generating inbound marketing campaigns. You need copy for a landing page for a new ebook or webinar, right?
Yeah, gotta convince people to sign up.
You can ask Gemini to write compelling landing page copy for an ebook titled Ebook Title. Highlight the key benefits for target audience, and include a strong call to action to download.
To get that conversion point nailed.
Exactly. And then the follow-up is crucial. You ask Gemini, create a 5-email automated nurture sequence for leads who download this ebook, personalize the content based on the ebook topic, address common follow-up questions, and aim to schedule a demo.
So it helps build the entire lead nurturing flow.
Yes. And for content marketers focused on delivering personalized content at scale, they could refine that nurture sequence further. Maybe use detailed product notes or FAQs to build a 5-step cadence for prospects, addressing specific objections or use cases at each stage, driving towards conversion.
Very targeted. What about the visual side? Can Gemini help with images?
It can, especially with the integrations. You could use Gemini in Google Slides, for example, to create visuals for ad campaigns.
You could prompt it like, generate an inspirational image for a travel ad campaign. Show a photorealistic airplane flying over clouds at sunset with warm, inviting colors. Or create a sleek, minimalist product shot background for a tech startup ad.
So it generates images directly in slides.
Depending on the latest features, it can generate or suggest images based on your description, dramatically speeding up finding or creating visual assets.
That's huge for creative teams. And finding blog ideas.
Generating blog inspiration. Stuck for ideas. Ask Gemini. Brainstorm 10 unique blog post topics for a sustainable travel company. For each topic, suggest a target audience, a brief content outline, and a relevant call to action.
And bam, you've got a content calendar starter pack.
Pretty much. Fully formed starting points, each tied to a strategic purpose.
Okay, one more on the marketing front, big picture strategy.
Right, creating strategic marketing plans. Let's say you're launching a new mobile app. You could use Gemini to help structure and draft the plan.
What would that cover? You could prompt it to outline sections for competitor analysis, channel mix recommendations, budget allocation ideas, core messaging pillars, and key performance indicators, KPIs.
Helping build the whole framework.
Exactly. And then once you have the detailed plan, you could ask Gemini, draft a concise email to the CMO summarizing the high-level marketing strategy, key initiatives, and budget request for the new app launch. Ensures clear, efficient communication upwards.
These examples really show Gemini as more than just a writer. It's like a strategic partner.
That's the key takeaway. A collaborative partner in brainstorming, planning, execution, and optimization across all of marketing.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. How does AI, and Gemini specifically, boost business development? It feels less obvious than marketing, maybe.
It might seem less obvious, but the impact is significant. For BD, AI is about streamlining workflows, making outreach more efficient and personalized, and really optimizing that relationship-building process for sustainable growth.
So empowering strategic outreach and relationship nurturing.
Exactly. It moves BD, maybe like you said earlier, from being purely an art to a more informed art, maybe even a science sometimes.
Okay, let's see some BD use cases from the prompt guide.
Sure. Think about nurturing relationships, personalized outreach, and thought leadership. A business development manager attends a conference, meets some key industry influencers.
Okay.
They can use Gemini to draft personalized follow-up email templates. Not generic ones, but referencing the conversation, maybe proposing a specific collaboration relevant to that influencer's work.
Making the outreach feel genuine and specific.
Right. Or following up with a prospect. Instead of just checking in, they use Gemini to quickly summarize a relevant piece of thought leadership, a new white paper, a webinar recording.
Adding value to the conversation.
Exactly. And then Gemini can help generate insightful follow-up questions based on that content to spark a meaningful discussion. What did you think of the section on X? How does this apply to the challenges you mentioned?
Demonstrates you've done your homework and you're thinking about their business.
Precisely. And what about generating personalized customer appreciation materials?
Keeping existing clients happy. Important for BD too.
Crucial. You can use Gemini to craft personalized emails for client anniversaries. Maybe a 1-month check-in after onboarding or a 1-year thank you.
Just a nice touch.
A nice touch, but you can also use it strategically. Maybe ask how things are going, subtly check for upsell or cross-sell opportunities based on their usage so far. Gemini could even help generate gift ideas for new clients within a specific budget, making the appreciation feel thoughtful.
Takes the guesswork out of corporate gifting.
Yes. And for conducting competitive analysis, this is vital for BD strategy. A small business owner, maybe an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
They can use Gemini to generate a competitive analysis, feed it public info about their business and a key competitor. Ask it to compare strengths, weaknesses, market positioning, maybe even customer reviews.
So it synthesizes public data into a SWOT-like analysis.
Essentially, yes. This can directly inform strategic decisions like, should we open a physical store? Where are the market gaps based on where competitor X is strong or weak?
Powerful for strategic direction. What about fundraising?
Definitely. Conducting fundraising and investor relations. Gemini can help draft personalized email templates for reaching out to potential investors.
Tailoring the pitch.
Highlighting the specific aspects of your value proposition or recent traction that would appeal most to that specific investor's focus area. Then, after a meeting, use it to draft prompt, professional thank you notes, reinforcing key takeaways and next steps. Professionalism matters there.
Absolutely. Keeping that momentum going.
And for startup founders, always juggling a million things, brainstorming business and strategy, you have a messy whiteboard from an ideation session.
Happens all the time.
Take a picture or type up the notes, feed it to Gemini, and ask it to organize these whiteboard notes into actionable text. Identify key themes, next steps, and potential missing elements we should discuss.
Turning chaos into order.
Exactly. It can even help brainstorm follow-up agenda items or draft the meeting recap email, keeping everyone aligned and the strategy moving forward.
That's a huge admin lift offloaded. One more BD example.
Vendor communication and negotiation, maybe for a head of operations role. You've got proposals from 3 different cleaning companies or packaging suppliers.
Comparing apples and oranges sometimes.
Can be tough. You can feed the proposals or summaries into Gemini and ask it to create a comparison table highlighting key differences in services offered, pricing structures, and contract terms.
Puts it all side by side clearly.
Right. Then, based on that analysis, you can ask Gemini, draft a negotiation email to vendor B referencing their proposal and suggesting adjustments to specific term based on vendor A's offering, maintaining a collaborative tone. Helps you negotiate more effectively and build better vendor partnerships.
Okay, the BD applications are clearer now. It's about efficiency, personalization, and strategic support.
That sums it up well.
Now let's hit the third pillar, sales. How is AI and Gemini revolutionizing the sales process itself?
Sales is fundamentally about relationships and understanding customer needs. AI supercharges both. It helps sales pros maintain those critical relationships at scale, decipher often subtle buying signals, craft truly tailored solutions, and ultimately drive revenue more effectively.
So understanding customers deeply.
Inside and out. Moving beyond assumptions to data-driven insights, turning the sales conversation from a pitch into a genuinely consultative partnership.
Okay, I can see that. Like having an AI assistant for every salesperson.
Kind of. It enhances their human touch, their intuition, with data and efficiency. Let's look at the specifics from the guide. Conducting customer research.
Recall planning. Super important.
Critical. An account executive, AE, can use Gemini to draft those initial outreach emails to new contacts. maybe congratulating them on a new role found on LinkedIn, referencing a recent company announcement, and suggesting a brief introductory call or coffee.
Personalized icebreakers.
Exactly, but it goes deeper. Before a call with a potentially large new customer, the AE uses Gemini to research their market strategy. Feed it recent news articles, maybe a link to their latest earnings call transcript or a CEO interview on YouTube.
Okay.
Ask Gemini to summarize this company's key strategic priorities for the next year, identify their main challenges based on these sources, and provide a brief profile of the executive I'm meeting.
Instant briefing document.
Precisely. Then the AE asks Gemini, based on that summary and our product offerings, draft an email explaining why our solution is a perfect fit to help them achieve specific priority and overcome a specific challenge.
Connecting your solution directly to their stated goals, that's powerful.
Extremely powerful. That level of personalized preparation used to take hours. Now it's minutes.
What about after the sale? Customer success.
Good point. For customer success managers, CSMs, AI helps in mapping customer journeys and onboarding.
Making sure they get value quickly.
Right. A CSM can use Gemini to create personalized onboarding materials. Maybe combine standard welcome docs with specific notes from the sales handoff about their unique goals or technical setup, perhaps migration notes.
So the onboarding feels tailored, not generic.
Exactly. Leads to faster time to value, higher satisfaction, lower churn. And think about the dreaded managing the request for proposal, RFP process.
Oh, yeah. Those can be monsters. Hundreds of pages.
They can. A sales manager can use Gemini to quickly get a handle on it. First, research the company issuing the RFP. Provide a business profile, key locations, target audience, and recent news for company name.
Understand who you're talking to.
Then, feed the RFP text or relevant sections to Gemini. Summarize this RFP, extracting the core customer needs, stated budget range, key decision criteria, and response deadline.
Pulling out the critical info from the dense text.
Saves immense time just understanding the request, allowing the team to focus on crafting the winning response.
That alone is worth its weight in gold for sales teams.
Absolutely. And for sales reps who are always out and about, accessing information and tools on the go.
Using mobile.
Yeah. Imagine using Gemini right within the Gmail mobile app. You get a super long email thread before walking into a meeting. Ask Gemini to summarize this email thread's key points and action items.
Great catch-up.
Then, maybe draft a quick context-aware reply right from your phone during a coffee break. It's about maintaining momentum and responsiveness, even when remote.
That's huge for field sales. What about relationship building, like events?
Developing customer relationships. You're hosting a happy hour at a big industry conference. Use Gemini to draft personalized invitation emails to key prospects.
Not just a mass blast?
No. Maybe mention, based on our conversation about X, I think you'd really enjoy chatting with our product lead for Y who will be there. Make it relevant.
Adding a reason for them specifically to attend.
Exactly. Then, after the event, use Gemini to draft personalized follow-up thank you emails. Maybe even link to a quick survey Gemini helped create to gather feedback on the event. Keeps the connection warm.
Closing the loop effectively.
Right. And AI can help support the sales team internally, too. Imagine an urgent issue arises, a product bug affecting key clients.
Need to react fast.
A sales leader uses Gemini to draft an urgent email to the regional sales leads. Urgent issue with product Z affecting clients A, B, C. Advise proactive outreach immediately. Offer a specific discount credit as apology. Talking points attached.
Getting the team aligned and informed instantly.
Yes. Gemini could also help quickly draft an agenda and send out invites for an urgent team meeting to discuss the response. It facilitates rapid internal communication and action.
What about training the team?
Coaching and training the sales team. Need to train the team on a new product feature. Use Gemini to create a half-day training agenda covering product overview, key benefits, target use cases, competitive positioning, role-playing exercises, and Q&A with product dev.
Structures the whole session.
Completely. Or maybe you want to encourage ongoing learning. Ask Gemini. Create a spreadsheet tracking online sales training courses relevant for B2B SaaS AEs. Include columns for topic, provider, price, duration, and priority level. Helps manage professional development systematically.
That's great for sales enablement.
Very much so. Then for AEs and account managers day-to-day, improving collaboration and execution by customizing sales materials.
Making the pitch materials really specific.
Yes. During a customer call using Google Meet, Gemini can take notes and generate a summary.
Capture action items accurately.
Right. Then use that summary to draft the follow-up recap email to the customer. But here's the really cool part. You take the transcript from that call, Use Gemini to extract direct quotes from this transcript where the customer describes their pain points regarding topic.
Pulling out their exact words.
Then, using your standard sales deck or sales kit, ask Gemini. Generate 3 specific reasons why our product X directly solves the pain points mentioned in these quotes, referencing features A, B, and C.
Wow. So you're customizing the follow-up materials using their own language about their problems.
Exactly. It makes your solution feel incredibly relevant and demonstrates you are truly listening. Transforms a generic pitch into a tailored solution.
That feels like the future of sales presentations.
It's getting there. And finally, preparing for new customer calls. Beyond the research, you can use Gemini to draft customized call scripts for specific use cases.
Structuring the conversation.
Detailing how your product addresses their likely pain points, outlining delivery options, pricing, even leaving space to drop in relevant customer references. You can also ask it to generate concise elevator pitches for different situations, or even anticipate likely objections.
Objections.
Yeah. Anticipate 3 common objections a prospect in the industry might have about our pricing model and suggest concise responses. Helps the sales rep feel prepared for anything.
That's incredibly thorough preparation.
The depth here really shows how AI, especially Gemini integrated into Workspace, isn't just an add-on. It's becoming an integral part of the modern, high-performing sales workflow. It provides a massive advantage in preparation, personalization, and efficiency.
Okay, this is all incredibly powerful. Gemini across marketing, BD, sales.
Yeah.
It seems like a massive opportunity.
Right.
But we need to talk about the other side too, right? The strategic implementation, the ethics.
Absolutely vital. AI is amazing, but it's not magic. It needs thoughtful implementation, and we have to grapple with the ethical complexities.
So what are the key things businesses need to consider?
Well, one big area is bias and discrimination. AI algorithms learn from data. If that data reflects historical biases in hiring, lending, even customer service interactions, the AI can learn and perpetuate those biases.
So the AI could unintentionally discriminate.
It's a real risk. Businesses need to be vigilant, audit their algorithms, use diverse data sets, and build fairness checks into their AI systems.
Okay, that's critical. What else?
Privacy concerns. AI often relies on vast amounts of data, including personal data. This raises huge questions about privacy and security.
How is customer data being used and protected?
Exactly. Businesses need transparency about data collection, they need informed consent from users, and they absolutely need robust security measures to protect that data from breaches.
Trust is paramount there.
It is. Then there's the concern about job displacement. Will automation replace human workers?
The classic AI fear.
It's a valid concern. While AI will automate some tasks, it also creates new roles requiring different skills. The key is investing in upskilling and reskilling programs to help the workforce adapt to these changes. It's about transition, not just replacement.
Shifting roles and skills.
Right, which leads to the broader point about transparency and responsible AI. Businesses really need to be upfront about how they're using AI.
No black boxes.
Ideally, no. Explain the benefits, but also acknowledge potential risks or limitations. And crucially, ensure the AI systems align with ethical principles and societal values. This isn't just good PR, it's fundamental to responsible innovation.
And you mentioned earlier there are real dangers of hiding AI use.
Right, absolutely. If you try to conceal that customers are interacting with AI and then it makes a mistake or gives a biased answer or just feels impersonal, the backlash can be severe.
People feel deceived.
Exactly. It erodes trust instantly and can seriously damage your brand reputation. Consumers value authenticity. Finding out they were talking to a machine when they thought it was a human, especially if the interaction goes poorly, feels manipulative.
So being open is actually safer in the long run.
Much safer. Open communication, explaining how AI helps provide better service or experiences, acknowledging its limitations that builds trust. It turns a potential negative into a story about innovation and transparency.
Okay, so for you, our listener, wanting to leverage AI responsibly, what are the key strategic steps? The source guide had some clear advice here.
Yes, very practical steps. First, define your objectives. Be crystal clear on what you want AI to achieve. Is it better customer engagement, higher conversion rates, streamlining internal workflows?
Don't just do AI for AI's sake.
Exactly. Have a specific, measurable goal. Second, assess your data. AI needs good food. Is your data clean, organized, relevant? Garbage in, garbage out is very true for AI.
Get your data house in order first.
Crucial. Third, Choose the right tools. There are tons of AI tools out there. Select ones that genuinely align with your objectives, your budget, and your team's technical skills. Think about ease of use, scalability, and how well it integrates with your existing systems like Gemini with Google Workspace.
The right tool for the job.
Makes all the difference. Fourth, start small, scale gradually. Don't try to boil the ocean.
Good advice for any big project.
Right. Begin with a pilot project in one area, test it, learn from it, refine your approach. Then, once you've got some wins and learnings, gradually expand your AI initiatives. It minimizes risk and builds internal buy-in.
Learn as you go.
And finally, fifth, embrace a culture of learning. AI is evolving incredibly fast. You need to foster continuous learning within your organization. Encourage experimentation, stay updated on the latest developments, be willing to adapt your strategies. It's an ongoing journey.
Constant learning and adaptation.
Yeah.
Key for staying ahead. Now, specifically regarding privacy with Gemini and Workspace, you mentioned Google has clear commitments.
Yes, and this is really important for businesses considering it. Google emphasizes that they've built secure products for 25 years, prioritizing user control. That philosophy extends to Gemini with Google Workspace.
So what are the key points?
Your data is your data. It stays within your secure workspace environment. Google doesn't own it. Your privacy is protected. And critically, your content, your prompts, your interactions with Gemini and Workspace are not used for ad targeting.
Okay, that's about it.
And they're not used to train or improve the Gemini models or other generative AI models either. Your business information remains confidential and isn't feeding back into the public models.
That's a massive reassurance for companies worried about proprietary information leaking out.
It really is. It addresses a major barrier for enterprise adoption.
Okay, this brings us to a crucial point. AI is powerful, Gemini is powerful, but it's also complex. Implementation, ethics, strategy, it's a lot to navigate.
It absolutely is. And while the potential is immense, figuring out how to actually harness it effectively, ethically, strategically, that can be daunting for any business.
So this is where expert guidance comes in, like the agency you mentioned, Aspiration Marketing.
Exactly. This is navigating the AI landscape with expert guidance. Partnering with a specialized agency like Aspiration Marketing can be invaluable here. They bridge that gap between the technology's potential and your specific business reality.
How do they help, practically speaking?
Well, they provide expertise and guidance on AI implementation, helping you choose the right tools for your needs, understanding the strategic implications, avoiding those pitfalls like choosing the wrong tech or implementing it inefficiently.
Getting you started on the right foot?
Yes. And developing a comprehensive strategic integration plan. How does AI fit into your overall business goals? How do you seamlessly embed it for automation, personalization, campaign optimization across marketing, sales, maybe even service? They help build that cohesive strategy.
Connecting the dots across the business.
Right. They also help establish robust data management and governance, making sure your data practices are ethical, compliant, and responsible, protecting customer data, ensuring privacy, building that trust factor.
Handling the sensitive data side correctly.
Crucial. And helping with transparency and communication. How do you talk about your AI initiatives internally and externally? How do you address concerns, highlight benefits, and build that positive perception around your use of AI? They help craft that narrative.
Turning AI usage into a positive story.
Exactly. And in such a fast-moving field, they provide continuous optimization and innovation. They stay on top of the latest AI advancements, evaluate new tools and techniques, and help you adapt your strategies so you remain agile and effective. They keep you current.
And you mentioned their track record. They have content specifically on this.
They do. It really demonstrates their commitment. If you look at the Aspiration Marketing blog, you'll find, I think it was 37 articles specifically tagged artificial intelligence AI, covering everything from prompt engineering guides to ethical considerations.
So they're actively exploring and sharing knowledge in this space.
Deeply engaged. Plus, they have 30 articles on growth marketing, showing that broader strategic view, and almost 100 articles, 97, I believe, on HubSpot services, proving their deep tactical expertise in integrating these tools within a core business platform.
Okay, so they cover the AI theory, the growth strategy, and the practical platform implementation. That's comprehensive.
It really shows they understand the whole picture, from strategy to execution. And one more really important point they emphasize: the human element.
Oh, yes. AI helps humans. It doesn't replace them.
Precisely. Generative AI, like Gemini, is designed to augment human capabilities. But the final output, the strategic direction, the critical thinking that always remains yours, the users. An agency like Aspiration Marketing guides that human oversight, ensuring you're mastering the tool, not the other way around. They empower your expertise.
That's a really crucial distinction. AI is a co-pilot, not the pilot.
Excellent analogy.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's recap. We've journeyed through the landscape of AI, focusing on how Gemini, especially within Google Workspace, can genuinely redefine productivity.
And foster those deeper connections across marketing, business development, and sales. Moving from broad strokes to precision, from reactive to predictive.
We start talking about that feeling of information overload, navigating the jungle. Our goal was to provide actionable insights.
Hopefully we've shown how AI, used thoughtfully, can power that journey, helping you move from feeling overwhelmed to being truly well-informed, strategic, and effective, giving you that competitive edge.
So the call to action for you, listening, is to really explore this. How could Gemini and AI specifically benefit your business, your workflows, your goals?
Don't just think about it theoretically. Take the next step.
And that next step could be reaching out to Aspiration Marketing. They offer a free consultation. You can talk to their team of experts about the specific growth potential for your business.
Just look them up online. They have offices across North America and Europe, so their expertise is pretty accessible wherever you are.
It's a great opportunity to bridge that gap we talked about between AI's potential and your business's actual reality. Get some expert guidance tailored to you.
Definitely worth exploring.
And that leaves us with a final thought to ponder, something to mull over after this deep dive.
As AI continues its rapid evolution, what new frontiers will you unlock for your business by truly mastering this human-machine collaboration?
What becomes possible when you effectively leverage these tools, not just for efficiency, but for genuine innovation and deeper customer understanding?
That's the exciting question for the future.